Peace in people. Use the force. Positive mental attitude. We've got to keep one, right? You know, like my granddad said to me, when shit's happening to you, because, John, it's gonna, if you can find the silver lining, the cloud with the silver lining, if you can find a positive way to deal with the negative situation, he said, you will come out the other side stronger and more grown for it. And I think he was spot on. Big ups to Percy William Leonard Woodford, my first hero, my second mentor, first mentor, second mentor, joint first. Him and my mum were just... So, anyway, positive reinforcement is what I want to open on. And I've got a strange story that I feel the urge to tell. And you'll see how it's strange. So, my dad always said to me, you're tone deaf, like your mum. Ouch. Ouch. Right? I make music. It's been my passion since I was a child. I was in the choir, the school choir, right, as a child. They tried to use that as a way to control me because they knew I didn't want to be kicked out of the choir. And when they threatened that, I tended to rein it in a little bit for a week or two. I loved it, right? It was all singing God's hymns and that, but jeez, I loved it. We are climbing Jesus ladder, ladder. There was, honestly, the vibes were alive, man. I'm telling you. Anyway, right, that's not the story. So my dad had told me I was tone deaf, so I had this negative reinforcement, right? That was his voice in my head. Now, as I grew a bit older, you know, I got to sort of 15, 16, 17, 18, you know, around the 15 to 17 age, I was like dealing with a few things like that. But it never really properly went away because I was so passionate about music and I wanted to do it more than anything at that time. And now, but there's three things I want to do more than anything. Make music, spread self-progression, and spread information speaking out on the horrific system we live in and how much we can do better. But back to the story. So Dad would say I was tone deaf. He'd never heard any of my music. He'd never heard me rap or anything, right? So it's one day, I'm picking my dad up and I'm driving us to Worthing to go and see my sister. And I decided I was just going to chuck my playlist on and just let it play. So we're going along, we're sort of chatting, and he suddenly stops and he goes, Jonathan, I want to say something. He goes, you hear this guy rapping? I was like, yeah. He's like, you know who it is? I was like, yeah. He was like, don't say anything, let me. He goes, see, I think this guy's white, but he sounds like a black guy. I was like, oh, really, Dad? He was like, yeah. I was like, oh, that's funny. Like, you like it? I was like, yeah, it sounds good. I was like, all right. I went, you know who that is? I was like, oh. I said, Dad, that's me. I showed him my phone. I was like, that's my playlist. He was just like, really? That's you? The look on his face, well, my dad was not one to tell me many things. He found it difficult to share vocal love with me. You know, it's what it is, right? Men raised in their era, more often than not, were taught to suppress their emotions. Men don't show their emotions. No. Real people show their emotions. Right? So anyway, so that was that, right? Now, there's a few sort of things that come to me off of the back of that, but my initial point really was just that regardless of what I'd been told, I'd found enough belief in myself that I was going to continue anyway. And thankfully I did. Because the man that had told me I was tone deaf basically retracted it. So when you do believe in yourself, and not only that, but my belief wasn't some illusional belief. I put in a lot of time and effort into crafting my art. Now, let me say now, I don't know if I sound like a black person, someone with brown skin. I sound like me. That's what I hear. I hear me, right? Me delivering. That's what I hear. I, on my life, have not tried to replicate anyone or anything ever. Ever. Now, something came to me, and I thought this, because, you know, in the climate we're in, the topic of race is being shoved in our face, right? People are being made to feel like they're picking sides, or people just are picking sides. Whatever, right? I know where I stand. But I saw this post, and it was about basically, I guess the end result is showing respect to what you are doing and knowing where it's come from and what it's about. So I know that hip hop came out of America, more to the point out of Brooklyn, New York. It was in New York, right? So when, you know, there was a whole load of fuckery going on, and, you know, black people were being still attacked. It was a whole mess. It was a whole mess. And so out of the breaks, so in a record, like, you know, a disco record, there'd be all the singing and all the and all the beat and that, and then the singing would drop out and it would just go into a beat, right? And so the DJs just were like, what? And so they took that beat, right, and they just basically have two records of the same, and they just keep keeping the breakdown going, right? So it would be like, before they'd have it lined up, so as the other one went to break and go into the singing again, the other one would be in, bang, smack that in, and the breakdown continues, right? Netflix, The Get Down, go watch it, it's sick, right? So I guess there was just a part of me that wanted to say, you know, I see where this came from. And so basically the b-boys, the street artists, and then the rappers, right? And to start with, it was just like a bit of a hype thing, and that soon progressed into this freedom of speech, into this poignant records about the times. They became narrators of society and of what was going on. And I've always felt that. And that to me was like, it's like showing respect, you know, without getting down on your knees and worshipping anyone, because I'm not into that. You know, I don't think there's any place for that. So basically, my own positive reinforcement that I didn't feel was jaded, that was a result of me putting in hard work, a lot of pen work, a lot of writing. I was writing for 6 months, right, before I even got near the mic. My friends were calling me to the mic, right, and I was shy boy. I didn't want to do it. And this one day, my mate George Brooker turned round to me and he just went, Scotty, either get on the mic or shut up. Sick of it. You're always in the corner writing down, mumbling to yourself, you blah blah blah, and you won't even get on the mic. It's a piss take. Do you want it or not? I was like, you're all right. I hear you, George. I hear you. So thank you, George, for giving me the kick in the arse I needed. Because now I can't put the damn thing down, and don't you wish I hadn't have picked it up in the first place? So, I don't feel delusional at all about anything that I write on, speak on, feel on. So there you go. Positive reinforcement, and you know, I truly believe that we will create a better society when this one crumbles, which is happening, right? When I do believe that the more of us that just dare to go inside and find our true voice, the voice that's not acting on expectation, the external influences, you know, a lot of people I know, the people that will see this on Facebook, people that I don't know, most people in society, due to the nature of what it is, are living and acting in ways they may not had they have been in a different position. Now, I believe anybody can get to anywhere. I am also fully aware that we all have different challenges in front of us. We come from a hierarchical, judgmental society that throws challenges of all different degrees at all different people, you know. So I believe that the more people that just go, right, let me just question some things, ask some questions, it's not that bad. One of my mates straight up refused to do anything because he said he thought it was too hard because of what I was going through, even though I told him that it was harder because my closest friends, well, some of my closest friends, because some of my closest friends went right into it, you know, and we'd all be talking about a whole load of crazy shit, but some not. And one of my closest wouldn't, because he said it looked too hard because of what I went through, and that's not good enough. The economy should have collapsed. The economy should have collapsed, right? It's not fun, but it's real. If you just go and find economists, right? Go and find out what the debt-based economy is. Go and find out. The people's media, the internet, it's there. It's the modern day library. Go read some articles. Go look at some documents that have been locked for 50 years for public protection. Shit, man. 90% of the documents I've seen that were sealed by the Crown for public protection was only protecting the Crown and their friends. Ain't no one protecting us. We got to get our own backs, you know, and then we get each other's backs, because I've got me. I know who I am. I know my shortcomings, and I know my strengths, you know. So if we help ourselves, we can help other people, and we can make a change because of that. I'm not saying we can't make changes if we don't help ourselves, but if we continue to live with a colonial taught mind, we're only going to create colonial solutions, which ain't a solution for nothing. So we're running up to 15 minutes. I'm going to say use the force, be kind with your thoughts, and keep loving your heart, yeah? Peace in.